There we are. Hello, CFA Nation. Gabe. And I'm here super excited right now for the fourth and fifth, I should say, and final day of the Ashes. Hopefully the weather. Are you kidding me? Hopefully the weather holds up. Hold on for a second. All righty. While we're waiting for this game to start, right now I am currently watching my West Indies try to hold on for a victory versus Ireland. It is the 49th over, and Ireland needs 25 off of the last 6 balls. And in the very first ball, out, out. Very nice, very nice. Perron with the catch, and I mean, that just makes it so it can still be done. But Odin Smith gets himself a wicket. Very nice there. 5.1 overs for Odin Smith. That's his second wicket of the game. Man, some very exciting matches thus far. What's going on? Harris, Amon, who else is here? Viking, what up, Viking? And again, baby steps, man. West Indies ODI team obviously much better than their test team, but Ireland's ODI team is their strongest side, and it'll be a nice win for the West Indies if they can pull it off. Both teams have lost people due to COVID. I mean, that's just going to be the reality, guys. Whoever's in is in. Bottom line. West Indies last month or earlier this month, I think it was. No, it was last month in December. I think Nicholas Perron might have been like the veteran guy because so many people were out due to COVID. So it's bananas. And Ireland has not made this easy. Ireland has not made this easy. And that was it. That was it because that was their last wicket. That was their 10th wicket. So the game is over. West Indies has defeated Ireland by 24 runs. Very nice. Brooks and Pollard played well together. If Hitmeyer doesn't get his fitness right soon, he'll be replaced. I saw Renil earlier talk about this or tweet out that Pollard was upset, and I like that he was upset at the fitness of some of the players, and you got to hold players accountable. That's the bottom line. So yeah, I'm sure Hitmeyer is one of those players, and he's too talented not to be, taking his fitness seriously. So that is upsetting, and I completely agree with Pollard there. What's going on? Asjad from Cricket for Us 2.0 will be joining us on the stream shortly. Awesome. Hopefully, we'll be able to get the whole first innings in, and who knows how long it will take, or if again, England is able to turn this into a draw. They've got all 10 wickets in hand. I don't think Australia is at risk of losing this game, but it could be drawn out. And when you had a first inning of 416 and you don't get a win, you actually ended up declaring both innings. That would be it'd be a moral victory at least for England, in my opinion. So let's see if Australia can get those wickets. What's going on, Vinesh? What's going on? For Gabe, it will be evening or night. What's good? Gabe, thoughts on Uzi? Guys, you guys know my thoughts on Uzi, and I've gone back and forth with a lot of people on Twitter and on our comments on YouTube. Like, look, I understand that Harris is a young player. No one can tell me Harris should be playing above Uzi. Bottom line. Even Travis Head. Uzi in 2 years, since 19, he hasn't played on a test side. Matter of fact, last Ashes, I believe. And he comes back and gives you 2 centuries. Uzi can bat anywhere in that lineup, and he has outscored everyone on both sides. I mean, what else is there to talk about? The guy, I get it. You know what I mean? Him and JL don't see eye to eye. And, something Nick and I want to talk about where sometimes coaches just need to make sure that they can put their own personal biases aside and do what's in the best interest of the team. Sanjay says, but Harris is an opener. Uzi is a number 5. Not true. Uzi has opened for his county team. He can play anywhere. Realistically, he can play anywhere. It's not like he couldn't open. And again, Harris, the only argument is that he got himself 72 or 76, I think it was, and finally had an opportunity, to show something. I know he's the younger guy, but if you've got a guy that can give you runs and you've got a guy that it's clearly better than both Travis Head and Harris, then at some point you've got to say, all right, like what are we doing here? What are we doing? And Nick and I are going to have a discussion, a cricket combos pertaining to this, because it's not just Uzi. Don't get it wrong. It's not just Uzi. This happens all across sports, okay? And case in point on the other side, don't explain to me why Stuart Broad has only played two of the 4 matches thus far, and Stuart Broad is their second all-time leading wicket taker for England. Stuart Broad is a savage. Got himself a fifer. He's the reason that they're even in this position, in the position that they are. I mean, Stuart Broad is an absolute animal, and don't tell me the rest. Don't give me the song and dance that they stop. Or did they need rest? Stuart Broad, remember, got rested against the West Indies when it was the first game back off of COVID, off of the COVID lockdown. He was complaining about not playing then. Did he need rest? No, stop. I don't want to hear it. It's because these coaches, in my opinion, wear their emotions on their sleeves. And when you're a leader of men, you've got to do what's in the best interest of the team. Now, does Stuart Broad sometimes say things that he shouldn't say? Came out and said him and Joe Root had a little back and forth. Absolutely. But that's the most talented guy on the team. He gives you the best opportunity to win. Why don't you put him in there? I don't know what to say. You could talk about Green's batting. He needed to score. Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to Asjad yesterday when Asjad was streaming, and the bat that honestly had been struggling the most was Green, but they're not going to get rid of Cameron Green, or they're not dropping Cameron Green, because that's their all-rounder. That's the guy they need to go ahead and do all the, they're going to need him for overs. They're not going to put themselves in a position where they don't have enough bowling, right? And then you're over bowling guys. I think Patty Cummings is being really smart about not over bowling guys. As we know, we have Hazelwood, who's currently injured, so they left him off this time again. Luckily, they had some options, but Cameron Green's not going anywhere. So it's really 2 positions for 3 players: Travis Head, Harris, and Uzi. Now the question is, again, Uzi's put these. This is his guys. This was his 19th century, or I'm sorry, his 9th Test century, excuse me, and 19th half century. The guy had just scored 3,000 runs, and not in his second century, but in his first century. That was his 3,000th run. What else do you got to do to get in the side? I mean, come on. And he gets left off, hadn't played a Test match in 2 years. Let's see. Let's get back into the chat. I disagree. JL and Uzi get along. Then, I mean, you got to answer the question, why doesn't Uzi get in on the side? I mean, you can't tell me that Harris is a better player. Stop. Harris doesn't believe that. West Indies pulled off a win against Ireland. It looked like they were going to lose at one stage. Yeah, they were, and I was following before I jumped on. I started talking about it as we jumped on, but they were able to do it. Alzeri Joseph, the night watchman, got himself a couple wickets there late. And, the West Indies needs to focus on their red ball team, right? Because their test team, their T20 team is going to do what it does. You guys already know that's what their strength is. And their ODI team is not as good as their test team, but I mean, not test team, excuse me, their T20 team, but they can compete, they can bang. It's whenever they're in tests, man, I hold my head, man, because it's rough. And they've got the talent. They've just got to get those players developed and in the mentality of playing tests. You know, watching Uzi's innings, and I've been working at the MGM, but I've been following the innings on my phone as I'm watching on Willow. And he starts off and builds those innings. Yesterday, again, he was like 1 for 18, 1 for 19, but he's defending, waiting for that ball to soften up, having the patience to get deep into the overs, which again is what openers do. And case in point, guys, Uzi went batted 6 hours for that first test century that he got in the first innings. 6 hours. Yeah, he's got what it takes to be an opener. He's opened before. Back in the chat. He opened years ago, but this season he's batted at 5. It is now Head who must open, in my opinion. Interesting. And again, I tell you, the selectors are going to have a nightmare of a decision to make, because let me know in the chat, has a player who scored double centuries in a match been dropped the very next test match? Has that ever happened? And Travis Head, the only reason Travis Head got dropped was because he tested positive for COVID, but he came off of a century. So out of the 3, the one who's performed the least has been Marcus Harris. But the kid didn't get himself 76 in that first innings of this match. And in the second innings, I think he ended up getting like 28 or something like that. So he's made an argument for being up at the top. So it's the selector's got a tough job, but I just think you let the numbers speak. I have this idea of batsmen only being as good as at one position. I think you mean I hate this idea. I agree. I don't think and I understand there's a difference between test and T20 and even test and ODI. But again, a guy that can bat for 6 hours, and this is not the first time he's done it. He's put up 141 against England before, 171 before. Uzi's done this many a time. The guy can absolutely go out there. He can play test, so that means he's got the skills to open, which he has opened, or play down at 5. Doesn't really matter. I think I already talked about Green's batting. Cameron Green, they talked about, and I asked Asjad this yesterday, why was his batting struggling? And I guess he's picked up a couple miles per hour on his bowling. He's increased his pace. He's focused a lot on pace. And I tell you what, batting is like anything else. And in baseball and in cricket, it's the same thing. The more work you put in, the better. One of the reasons my son Trey has struggled with the bat in his high school career is because he takes months off to play football, and then he goes back to playing baseball, and he's got to get his timing down. So if you're in the nets working on your bowling and you're not working on your batting, you know what I mean? You're going to lose that timing. That, and I think the concern of possibly, of course, they're putting him in at what, 6? They're putting him in above Alex Carey. He's expected to score runs at 6, so he probably felt the pressure. And there goes the man, the myth, the legend, Asjad. What's going on? Thank you for joining. I know the voice is a little sore. I'm actually on the mend myself, man. As you can probably hear a little nasally. But what's going on with you, brother?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on, as always. It's a pleasure. Hello, CFA Nation. Please like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff, because we've had a lot of dot balls by Scotty Boland in the first over. And it isn't raining. I'm so happy. Last 2 days, it's been saying that it's going to rain. It's going to rain. But thankfully, it's not really that bad at the moment. So I'm kind of content with that, to be honest. But yeah, very excited to be here. And like I said, I'm going to try and stay as long as I possibly can. But I'll let you know if I have to go. But yeah, very happy to be here. And do you think Australia can win this, Gabe? Do you think Australia can win this?
You know what? I think Australia can win this. In order for England to win this, bottom line, you got to get another Johnny Bairstow performance as he got, okay? You got no Butler because Butler's out injured. And, I mean, dude, just think about it. It's one of those situations where who expected – I know, and that's why Johnny Bairstow, the whole Johnny Bairstow's garbage thing.
Garbage!
Drives me crazy. I got set up before by Jihan, but Johnny Bairstow is one of those guys that will give you those huge innings, right? But then he'll also come out and lay an egg. All right, Joe Root, went down for a duck, as a matter of fact. Actually, that's the second duck of the Ashes, because I think in the first inning he got himself an Ashes as well. Or the first one of the somebody told me the first
It's his first.
duck for England of the 2022 season was Joe Root, which is unbelievable.
Yes, yeah.
So, he can only do so much. All right. Are other guys going to step up? We finally saw a little bit from wow. It's his name's escaping me right now.
Ben Stokes.
Ben Stokes, right? But now they're saying he's injured. He pulled a lat or something.
Yeah, he's not good. He was injured in the first inning when he was bowling. He was injured while he was batting. Like every shot he hit, he'd be like, he'll grimace and then go back and try and smash another 4 or another 6.
Right.
So yeah, 3 big players for England, all injured in this particular game: Stokes, Bairstow, and Butler.
So did Butler break his hands, or what is it? They said something about his hand, but he can't go.
I think he was keeping, and the ball hit him at a weird angle. That's what I recall, but I could be wrong. I know Bairstow, it hit his thumb, and it hit. I don't know if you've seen it.
Right.
That hurts like anything. Even if you have the glove, right? Even if you have the padded glove, it's 85 miles an hour.
It's gonna hurt,
right? It hurts like anything, and I think he's probably broken his thumb as well. And he'll have to come out to bat because that's the type of personality he is. Same with Butler, same with Stokes. They are those, types of players that are like, oh, we're going to come in and score runs or try and show up for our team. And it's really unfortunate that they're getting injured because of the fact that England have looked good in this match.
They have. Right?
Injured his thumb. There we go. Thank you, Maniwan. So yeah, it's surprising to see it, but let's hope everyone is okay. But England, maybe they draw this match. Can you imagine? It?
I just mentioned that. Like, I think that England's best opportunity is to draw this match. Can they win? I don't know. That's a huge total to put up. And if you try to taste, what are they chasing right now? 350? 356? If you try to chase 356, you could lose some wickets. So remember, it took on this pitch, this is a difficult pitch. It took Australia 2 days to get that first 416, and then an additional day plus to get the 265 with Uzi. So,
I'll say one thing though. I'll say one thing. I don't know if you realize that, but near the end of the day yesterday, it just looked like the pitch looked a little easier. I know Usman Khawaja, like Uzi said, that the pitch still has some demons in it, but it just looked like it was easier. Like Zach Crawley smashing Pat Cummins or Stark down the ground, right? Quite easily. It was like, maybe the pitch is a lot easier now.
Maybe the pitch got easier.
Yeah, but it's definitely a difficult pitch. It is. And if you count the first 2 days, it did rain, but they got 400 odd. And yesterday was fantastic because England batted twice in the same day, right? They batted in the morning, got all out, 3 wickets in the first half hour. Then Australia batted for most of the day, then declared, and England batted the last hour. So, they scored quite quickly. Usman Khawaja and Cameron Green, after tea yesterday, just decided we're going to just be aggressive as anything. And they were. And Usman Khawaja, dude, this guy, 238 runs in 2 innings. Dude has an average of 238 in this series.
They're and I was asking earlier, has a player ever been dropped after scoring a double century in a test match? Jason Gillespie was dropped after scoring. What selector, what coach, what captain can go to a player and say, yeah, you're getting dropped after you just led how?
Because his role is as a bowler, right? Jason Gillespie was a bowler who scored a double 100. So I don't think they're going to keep a bowler because of his batting, will they? Like, ideally, they won't do that, would they? That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, it does look pretty flat now. Yeah, Harry, I completely agree with you. Which is why Zach Crawley looking comfortable yesterday evening. That was like, yeah, okay, maybe the pitch has just gotten easier. I don't mean to diminish Zach Crawley's ability, but that's just the way it looks to me, at least.
Yeah, for sure. So possibly England can draw this out, and we'll see. If they win, I would be shocked. But thank you for that, Christopher Williams. Christopher Williams says he's got a podcast. I'd love to get you on sometime. And
I would too. Just saying.
Absolutely. Get your perspective on the Ashes. Maybe after the Ashes is over. For sure, man. hit us up on Twitter, and we will definitely talk Cricket for Us 2.0 and, of course, CFA Nation.
Super chat by Dr. Jihan, by the way.
My man, Dr. Jihan, what's going on? Dr. Jihan says, I know Harris scraped 76 at the MCG, but he still looks like a walking wicket. Kawhi just doesn't look like getting out. Ask England bowlers who they prefer to bowl to or bowl at. Kawhi must open in Hobart. And, I also felt the same thing about Cameron Green yesterday up until T. Like, he looked so... What's the word? He doesn't look aggressive.
Yeah.
He looked so tentative.
He looked busy, but he wasn't doing much. Against Leach, it just looked like he'll come down the track and inside edge into his pad almost like every time. He didn't know where the ball was spinning, and he kept coming down the track. That's a good approach, but if you don't know which way it's spinning, it's kind of moot, isn't it? He's just trying to play the numbers, and thankfully in the end that worked out. But until T, I agree with you, or until until T, he just looked really uncomfortable.
It looked really, you know what I mean? Where Kawhi to me looked so calm the entire time. Both centuries. It's funny. At one point, Patty Cummings in that first inning, right, takes a single, and the crowd is booing him because they want to see Kawhi get that 100, and Kawhi is just smiling like, don't even worry about it. It's the last over before T because they want him to get that. He looked so relaxed, bro. So relaxed. So chill. Went out there, got this double 100, celebrated. And even on the second one, they were panning to his wife in the stands, and she's picking up the baby, and she's all nervous. And Kawhi was just like, it's coming. I know it's coming. I'm not even nervous 90s, nothing. I am good. And you don't see that out of Marcus Harris. You know what I mean? Even him, when he scored his 76, did not look comfortable or did not look calm. I think the guy that looks the calmest is Smudge. I love the way his leaves are a beautiful thing. His leaves are a thing to behold, you know what I mean? But other than Smudge, I definitely think that Kawhi has looked the most comfortable. Dr. Jihan, thank you for the super chat. And again, I will lose my mind if Kawhi isn't opening in the final test match at Hobart, but that is not my decision. My man Han Solo says the only way England will draw is someone gives Joe Root a pencil and some paper. He always comes with the classic. You don't know.
I was gonna say one thing about Joe Root. If he gets in, right, and he plays the way we know he played last year,
right,
he could potentially take England not to a victory, but at least to a draw. Because everyone else, if they're injured, they're one of the better players. Like, if I had to pick like the four best batsmen in the England side, right, you'd have Root, Stokes, Bairstow, and Butler/Milan, right? So half of them are injured right now. So let's see where it goes. But Joe Root has to bat. If he comes in, let's assume he does come in, and they lose 2 wickets. But when he comes in, he needs to just bat the entirety of the innings, because apart from him, I don't see anyone else just dropping anchor. Hamid could drop anchor, but he's faced 47 deliveries, scored 9, which tells you in his mind he's like, I'm gonna go for the draw. But Crawley's like, I'm gonna go for the win. I think they should communicate and tell each other what they're going for, so the team knows what the plan is. But someone asked me this yesterday, and I wanted to ask you, if you were in their situation, when do you decide if we should go for a win or we should go for a draw? I said at lunch, you look at it and see how many runs we have and then try and work around it. What are your thoughts?
Here's the thing. If I were Patty Cummings, I would have done exactly what he did for 2 reasons. The worst case scenario is with the weather, you get drawn out, you still not losing a game, and you still it's better to get the points on the points table for a draw than to lose for a loss. Okay. Second, you had Kawhi going for his 2nd century. That was huge, so you can't take that away from him. You're a brand new captain, so you definitely want to show that you're a player's captain. And then you've got the youngster Cameron Green, who everybody is pushing for. This is the future, the all-rounder for Australia. You want to build up his confidence, so you wanted him to get that milestone of 50. Once it got that late in the game, I think he did the right thing. Just give England, 10 to 15 overs. under the lights to see if they're going to struggle in the twilight with batting. Obviously, England didn't put up a ton of runs, but didn't lose any wickets. But that's the way you play it. You run the risk if there's bad weather today of getting drawn out, but that is what it is. You're not going to lose. I think as a new captain, the one thing you don't want to do is lose a game here at the Ashes when everybody's expecting England to go 5-0 or 4-0 at the very minimum.
Fair enough. Fair point. There's a really good comment here by Manny One. England not losing a wicket in 10 overs. Call it a win by a huge margin.
Dude, that is hilarious. Call it. I mean, honestly, this has probably been England's best performance thus far in the Ashes. And I got to say, it was probably led by Johnny Bairstow, of all people. Johnny Bairstow, bro. That first inning.
Who would have thunk it?
Bro, and I tell you what, that's what drives me crazy about Johnny Bairstow, bro, because Johnny Bairstow has the potential to be really, really good. But the problem with Johnny Bairstow is he's very undisciplined. And even when you saw him, he did not have a lot of leaves there that looked comfortable. There were a couple of questionable shots, but that's just who he is. He's an aggressive player. He's more of a white ball player. But Bairstow has the talent, and he's an absolute savage. If he had a little bit more discipline, it would be amazing. I'll give you a point, right? Yesterday, people were booing Mark Wood because Mark Wood, as he's bowling to Kawaj is trying to get his second century. He's bowling wide, and Kawaj is, okay, I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to try and go. But he's being disciplined within himself. He's not running way across the stumps, exposing the stumps, because he's being disciplined. If that was Bairstow, would have tried to go right across the stump, expose the stump, maybe get himself out. And that's what you need to have that mentality as a test guy. You don't see a Bairstow going out there and batting 6+ hours, and he's got the talent. But, man, has Bairstow in his career, I think this might be his career high. 158 balls, that might be his career high in test. Being honest.
The way I see it is, he has had really good stints in test match cricket, but he's always been a better, not always, over the past 3 to 4 years, he's just been a better white ball player than a red ball player. Prior to that, maybe he was a better red ball player. I know in first class cricket, he had some really good knocks for Yorkshire, but I think over the past let's say 2018 onwards, he's just been much better against the white ball than with the red ball. And this particular or 2017, let's say, right? And now that we saw this particular innings, it did look like he took his time. The first 50 deliveries, he was on 18 or 19. The next 50, he was on like 70 or 60 runs. So he definitely accelerated, and that's what he needs to do. And that's the type of player he is. He can't really keep on defending. You know that innings by Butler, was it the first game or the second game, where he dropped anchor to score like 20 of 200 balls, right? Something like that. Bairstow, I can't imagine Bairstow doing that. Like, I can imagine Bairstow facing 100 deliveries and scoring 20 runs. But after a certain point, Bairstow's probably going to be like, well, I just want to smash this one.
Hot pocket match, man. You know how that goes. Now, here's another thing I was thinking about. And let us know in the chat. Only 2 years in. So I'm not going to take heat. But everyone and their mother said Scotty Boland is a veteran player, Gabe. He's not even a rookie. He's been around for a while. He's only an MCG product because that's his home grounds. Scotty Boland looks good. His economy rate is like $1 and change. He's got the lowest economy rate, 120 economy rate. Not taking a lot of wickets this test match around, but he looks like a true test bowler. Am I making too much out of just a second strong performance? Everybody said Scotty Boland is only an MCG product. The only reason that he's in right now is because Josh Hazelwood is still injured. But you tell me, you've seen him bowl now at the MCG and now and here at the Selborne Cricket Grounds, right? SCG. What do you think?
He's great. He's very disciplined, and that's a word you used for, in the opposite sense with Johnny Bairstow. But something I've seen with Boland is he's probably the slowest out of all the paces I've seen from Australia over the last year. But what he does have is line and length, and he hits the right line and lengths at the MCG. But he did that in the first innings here. He took 4 for 36, didn't he? And on the first day, when England were batting and Bairstow and Ben Stokes were going crazy, he was injured. He was off the field. And when he came back the next day, he took 2 wickets and got England all out quite quickly. So I think Scott Boland is a type of player who reminds me of, and I don't know if, have you seen James Pattinson from Australia? Did you ever see him bowl? Because he's retired recently. It's like him. Like, he comes in, plays a couple of games, bowls really well, and then goes out again. Right? That's what Australia did when they came over to England. They had the rotational policy that Stark, Cummins, Pattinson, and Hazelwood would kind of keep swapping, changing over, and they'd only stick with like 3 of the 4 paces or something. Again, people in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong. But Boland seems like a player, he'll come in if needed, take wickets, and then they'll happily keep him out, because even though Boland is great, Stark, Cummins, and Hazelwood are your 3 main bowlers. They're going to Pakistan at the end of February, start of March, to have, I think it's at least a couple of test matches and a few ODIs and T20s and stuff. Those 3 are the ones they're going to take. Those 3 are the ones they're going to play, right? He is a good bowler. I agree with Roland there. He's been great in first-class cricket for quite some time. But at the same time, if you have Hazelwood, you have Cummins, and Stark all fit, he doesn't play. He just doesn't play.
Which is crazy to me. But I mean, look at this. He's about to go to another maiden over. And watch me jinx him. He's about to give up a 6, since I just said that. But it's dot after dot city. Bro, dot after dot, this guy has impressed me. And again, he had that monster. Nope, I did not. Another dot there. Left. I mean, honestly, man. Hamid should have left that ball. It makes all the sense in the world. But this guy has been so good. His economy rate is now down to 1. And everybody just said he can only do this at the MCG. Well, he's doing it at SCG. And look at Han Solo call me out. He said, Shelbourne, did Gabe just make a Demolition Man Super City Sydney Cricket Ground? Did I say Shelbourne? Han never lets one go, man. Never lets one go. I love it. I love it.
I'll tell you this. I've been trying to find Demolition Man on Amazon, on Netflix, on Disney+. Can't find it. So I got to look at things that I can't mention on CFA, but I can mention on Cricket for Us 2.0, right? But I basically can't find Demolition Man. And it's a movie. It used to be on TV all the time when I was a kid. So I literally saw it like 15 times in a row. Like every couple of days it was on TV, so I'd watch it. Really entertaining film. But yeah, thanks, Han. I love that you mentioned that. I just thought I'd let it go, but thankfully you didn't. So pretty funny. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Han let something go. What are you kidding me? Han's a savage, bro. You know he's gonna let me have it. Renil, what up, baby girl? Renil in the chat. Yeah, Han's a legend. Renil, Zari Joseph, baby, the night watchman, taking those wickets. Holding it. I was nervous. I was watching it as I was getting ready for this stream throughout the day, and man, we almost blew it there. West Indies almost blew it, but getting themselves a ODI there, much needed ODI win there. Get them some points, because the ODI championship is this year, right? Because that's every 2 years. So
no, that's next year.
Next year?
2023. It's every 4 years usually.
So 2023. Okay, gotcha. But yeah, so Scotty Boland, man, and I was listening to everybody, and a lot of people are, even the experts are like, don't expect him to bowl. And you're probably right if Hazelwood is in. But it's a nice problem for Australia to have, where a guy this good, yeah, you got to sit.
It's like, and again, it's not a comparison of the players. It's more of the situation. India toured Australia. They didn't have Shami. They didn't have Bumrah. They didn't have Ishant Sharma. So they brought in Siraj. They brought in Shadul Thakur, XYZ, right? So that's a similar type of thing. And then when Siraj started to become more prominent, then they were like, okay, we can rest Ishant Sharma for a little while, and then we go in with Siraj, Shami, and Bumrah as our main 3 seamers. So maybe this is something Australia could do. And I can't remember, someone, I have a feeling it was Roland who mentioned it earlier in the chat about Richardson, Nesser, and Boland being 3 potential bench bowlers that Australia has. If Cummins and Hazelwood aren't available, or if Stark and Hazelwood aren't available, then you can bring in 2 of those players, and it wouldn't look like, oh, Australia is horrible, right? They're still pretty darn good. So I think that's a really, really good situation to be in. And I genuinely can't wait for the Australia-Pakistan series. It's like that test series, I'm telling you now, I can't predict it, even though I think Pakistan's going to win 2-0. But I can't predict it officially.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Because it's pretty big, right? This is actually played in Pakistan.
Yes.
And Pakistan does not get a lot of games there. Obviously, with some of the stuff that's happened over the last few years, the canceling, COVID.
They're starting though. They've got 3 series in the next year and a quarter or something like that.
Pakistan is known for pace, though, right? So Pakistan is known for pace.
Yeah, sorry, go
grounds. On. Would you leave off Lion and risk going no spinner and bring no? He said no. Okay, okay.
So just imagine, and I know because my understanding is you've probably not seen more than like 2 games in Pakistan over the past couple years, right? So apart from one specific ground, all the other grounds are very similar to the rest of the subcontinent. Is that out? Is that out? Is that out?
That
Saw an edge. I don't know if that's dropped though. But yeah, in Pakistan, usually the grounds are very similar to the rest of the subcontinent. Maybe they're slightly less spin friendly, but they are pretty flat. It helps the spinners at the end. It helps pace bowlers at the start. Apart from one ground, the rest of it is pretty much similar to, it's a drop. To India, UAE, etc. That one ground that I'm talking about, that has a bit more pace in, which is Rawalpindi. But yeah, you can't go into Pakistan without a spinner. It's just like you can't go into Australia without a spinner. It just doesn't make sense. The only place you could go without a spinner is England, in my opinion. Even South Africa, if you have a spinner, it's helpful. But yeah, that's my take on it, at least.
Can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. Is it me, or have the wicket keepers been absolutely horrible on both sides? Because that was a drop. That was an edge. It should have been a wicket. And I'll be honest, for England, was it Ali Pope that was? Yeah, Ali Pope was keeping. He looked a little bit better than Butler, because Butler's had some horrific drops. Is it the grounds? What is going on with the wicket keepers, for the love of Pete?
I think it's number one is probably not getting used to the bounce. That could be the case. But Butler has struggled. And I genuinely thought Ollie Pope looked so much better than Butler. Yes, he dropped a couple, but there were really sharp chances. I think it was an outside edge of Khwaja's when Leach was bowling, or Root was bowling, or something like that.
No, it was Leach. It was Jack Leach who got it. I was like, not the Leach, not the him. Oh, gosh.
But overall, yes, the keeping hasn't been amazing. I think Butler hasn't looked great, but Pope I was very impressed with. Carey's been okay. Like, if I had to give him a rating out of 10 in the series, I'd say it's about a 7 out of 10. It's not been a horrible keeping performance, but it's not been like Haddon or Gilchrist or like how Butler usually goes, or, some of the great wicket keepers of old. It's just been a little better than okay.
Tim Payne wouldn't have dropped that. Tim Payne wouldn't have dropped that. And here's the thing. Because of because of how well Australia has performed this Ashes, right? Because of the whole Kawaj, Marnus, Marcus Harris, and Travis Head situation. Because of the Patty Cummings COVID, nobody has paid attention to the fact that, I'm sorry, Alex Carey does not look anything close. I mean, anything close to what Tim Payne did. I get it. Tim Payne was also the captain or whatever, but keeping, he hasn't done, the best job, in my opinion. With the bat, he hasn't done the best job, with my opinion. He has not had a good series. So, I mean, how long before you start thinking to yourself, maybe they preemptively dropped Tim Payne? Maybe they should have just took the captaincy. What do you think?
Tim Payne is not going to play cricket for Australia in the next year. If he does, I will be very, very surprised. I don't know who they might go. I really like Josh Inglis, who might eventually get a chance, but I think they're going to stick with Alex Carey for at least most of this year. I don't see them dropping Alex Carey anytime soon in Test cricket, because he's always been like their second ideal wicketkeeper, right? Even though you might have other keepers in first class cricket, they've just said, "Oh, Tim Paine's the main one." And I always thought to myself, when Tim Paine retires, who's going to keep? I remember Paine saying he was going to retire after this Ashes anyway, right? So
Right.
Paine's not coming back, right? And then with regards to Carey, apart from Inglis, again, I don't know Australian wicketkeepers right now that well. So the only person I always think of is Josh English, and Josh Felipe, but I don't think Felipe plays first class cricket, but I could be wrong. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting conversation, but I see Carey's hanging out for quite a long time, at least the rest of this year. Also, Dr. Jihan has just sent a super chat as well.
I mean, it's something to be said that they're batting Cameron Green at 6 and batting Carey down at 7. Australia, no, he is not doing anything with the bat. Just saying.
He's not a bad batsman. Do you remember? This was like a really long time ago now. But he got 100 in England, right? He got 100 in England like a year and a half ago or something.
I don't remember that one. I'm sure I watched it, but I don't remember that one. Recency bias. Jihan says, Carey was really good first 2 test matches. Missed some chances. These last 2, though. The slips are standing too close together.
He's diving in front of them. He is diving in front of them.
I saw an absolutely weird setup that Root had for when Kawaj was batting. And I was like, what are they doing? They brought in a man, I think it was at Silly Point. Then they had, was it a man at Cow Corner? Like, it was like a very, very weird setup where the edges were not going to go that far. What were they doing there? I could not figure it out. Because you want the slips close enough so that if it's edge, the guy can catch it before it drops. And there were a few that just fell short. Like, I don't understand the setting of the field.
I'll tell you this.
Oh! Hey! Let's beat him up.
That way.
What is happening, fellas?
He would come on.
Oh, there's a boundary. Why would I come on? Somehow,
right when England is showing some life.
They have not lost any wickets, but we all know that have watched this Ashes series. Oh, those wickets are coming very, very soon. I mean, England can't help themselves. What is happening, everyone? Thank you so much for joining us here at Cricket for Americans. The show has now officially started. I appreciate the pregame guys being on here doing their pregame stuff. But, how are you guys doing?
I'll be honest, getting nervous. This is the longest I've seen England bat without.
Australia has zero chance of losing
without losing a wicket.
Australia has zero chance of losing this match.
Yeah, but you don't want to draw a match where you scored 416 in the first innings. Come on now.
You think they're gonna draw it? Australia, talk some sense into this, man, please.
Nick,
the way that they might do.
19 overs and they haven't lost a wicket.
Have you guys not been paying attention to this England side? Have you not?
Nick, 33 minutes this morning. No wickets. At a drop. So technically they could have got a wicket here. Must say, Carey should have taken that. But yeah, I don't see England winning this match, but a draw is still on the cards. I think draw is about at least about a 30-35% chance.
I would say 10%. From what I've seen Australia do, that would be good for England, but the best they can do is possibly a draw after 4 matches. Oh, the embarrassment. Oh, man.
If only Hazelwood was playing, then they would have lost the match quite easily.
Renio says, yes, the legend is back. Hello, Nick. So let me ask you guys a question. What was the best ball you've seen so far this Ashes? And complete bias, but my favorite ball had to be Stuart Broad when he took the wicket of Patty Cummings, because it was a high bouncer. And I think there's like an unwritten rule. Like, listen, we're both bowlers, but then it nicks off of his glove, just barely gets the glove. The appeal, it was epic, because he turns around, appeals, and the umpire doesn't give it to him. And he looks at him like he's crazy, and he sends it up to review himself. I've never seen a bowler do that. He's like, no, review it. Like, bro, you can't review it. The captain Root's got to review it. What are you doing? It was insane.
That's a really good delivery, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, that hit the helmet. Like, my first thought was that didn't glove it, but it did. My favorite ball is the first ball of the Ashes this season, right? Ooh. From Stark to Burns. Yeah, loved it. Absolutely loved it.
That was a beaut. That definitely was a beaut.
I love Han's comment. If Hamid's auctioned his bat from this, the ashes would be in mint condition due to the lack of use. Oh man.
Oh man, that's what I'm saying, Nick. These guys are about to go 20 overs without losing a wicket. They're in the 20th over right now. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen.
Well,
I'm nervous.
It's luckily for England, they don't have a Rishabh Pant on their side, right? Because you can talk about like the game plan before this day. Guys, all we got to do is outlast. We don't care how many runs we can score. If Rishabh Pant was there, he's like, what are you talking about? This is chaseable. I can get 400 runs in one day. Send me out there, coach. Oh, man.
That would be Pant. That definitely would be Pant.
Yes. I like this comment from Roland here. He says, in your honor. Oh, sorry. In your honor, Nick, I describe Bairstow's ton as like watching a Rocky movie. I like that. I like that comparison. I would go a step further. I would say Uzi's double ton, right? Not double ton, but 2 tons was like more like a Rocky film because this guy, he couldn't get on there. No one wanted to see him in the brass and control. And this guy gets back-to-back centuries. Absolutely unbelievable. I love the Rocky reference. You know I'm going to love that. But man alive, I'm sure you guys have already talked about it. I'm sure Gabe has already fumed a bazillion times about it. But you can't write this stuff. Oh, and then he reacts. So obviously a wicket's coming. What'd I say? They can't help themselves? Isn't that what I said?
Baby! Scotty
Isn't that what I said?
The MCG product. MCG what? MCG what? Bowling deserves a shot. Give the man a chance to bowl. Scott would be. I can't believe you wouldn't even come on. Do the ball. This is the one time I want to hear Nick's pump.
You guys are way ahead of me. You guys are way ahead of me. I just now saw it. Right? I just now saw it.
Ooh.
He's so
little outside edge there. Man. And Nick, everybody said when I got excited about bowling's, what was it, 7 or 8 wicket haul? He's an SCG product. He's just you're too excited.
Everyone was saying that. Everyone was saying we won't see him again the rest of the year. We won't see him again the rest of the decade or something like that. We saw him again. He can bowl and look good doing it. Holy cow.
I think that's his 5 wickets for this for the SCG because he got 4 in the first innings and this is his 5th wicket. Listen, bro, it's an embarrassment of riches. It's an embarrassment of riches when it comes to bowling. Australia, listen, right now, if I'm the West Indies, I'm trying to see if bowling has any kind of West Indian heritage or whatever. We'll take them. Matter of fact, I'm about to jump on the USA side. Does he have any American in him? Or Americans have a whole bunch of every stuff. Get that dude a visa. Give a dude a visa. No, what is it that they was it Nokovic that didn't get his visa rejected in Australia because he was there? Listen, no shot record required. No visa passport, vaccine passport required.
And I agree with that Djokovic decision. You can't have an Australian Open without Djokovic. Come on. We got a super chat here from Dr. Jihan. What's up? Nick, Bairstow took your audition for Harry Potter comment to heart. My favorite ball was when Richardson demolished Woke's stump in Adelaide second inning. Appreciate that comment. And then the second part is answering Gabe's question. You know what, Jihan, I know there's a little bit of troll in that comment right there. I know it is. You chose the Wokes one just because that was your favorite ball or because you can picture me sitting there crying with a bowl of ice cream. Don't come back to Australia, Wokes. How dare you? I think the best ball, in my opinion, was the very first ball of the entire series, right? It set the tone by Burns, ruined his career, and it was a beautiful ball at the same time.
Burns has been banished. Like, after that first innings, he didn't take the first ball for the next 2 games, right? He didn't take it in the first inning, in the second innings, and didn't take it in the next game, and then he's just been banished. We haven't seen him. So, to your point, that was a destructive ball there by Mitchell Starc, but I still love, and it's because of Stuart Broad's attitude. Like, bro, he looked in disbelief when the umpire didn't call it, and he literally went for the appeal. For the review himself. I've never seen that. Like, Joe Root must have looked. That's probably why they hate Stuart Broad because he does stuff like that. But they're like, bro, I'm the captain. I'm supposed to be appealing. What's wrong with you? It was hilarious. Yeah, Rory Burns.
I can't do it. Sometimes that happens. Everyone, don't forget to like and subscribe to Cricket for Americans. Check out Cricket for Us 2.0. See the stuff that Asjad's doing if you want something a little more serious than what we do over here. Scott Boland, this is a good comment from Roland right here. You don't get much more Australian than Boland. He's got the Aboriginal blood, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So, I mean, sorry, Gabe. Not going to happen, my friend. No chance there.
Bro, but I mean, and I get it. It's just the Ashes. It's just one series. But Asjad, you can't tell me this guy does.
Gabe, just the Ashes?
I'm just saying. But because if he does not get another shot after Hazelwood comes back, then I'm going to be complaining and I'm going to be champion for Boland as much as I'm championing for Uzi. Get him in the rotation. Don't just banish him forever.
I agree with your point that if they get him into that, bundle, as we talked about, if he's part of that rotation policy and you bring in bowlers here, there, and everywhere, then in that place, it kind of makes sense to have Boland. But again, Australia's best 3 bowlers, pace bowlers, are still Cummins, Stark, and Hazelwood. And if you want to win your matches, you play your best team, or as certain people might say, horses for courses, you pick someone who's great at that particular ground. Scott Boland at the MCG is a perfect example of that.
That's right, Renil. Renil says, why West Indies? Laugh my ass off. There she goes. We take Kawhis if Australia don't need them either.
Hello.
Oh, hey, princess. Let's steal some English player.
There she is.
Why not?
What's happening?
Oh, pretty. Oh.
Chris Wokes.
Don't,
I don't get the smile. I see how it is. She's over the phenomenon that is Chris Wokes. Yeah, there we go.
Is.
There
You're
we
just on a
go.
delay. You're just on a delay. That's what it is. You're just on a delay.
Chris Wokes.
Hi, Mama. She's gotten so big.
I know, right? She's turning 8 months in like a week.
That's crazy. Amazing. That's amazing.
Time flies.
Good thing she looks like Mom, Asjad. Just saying. Good thing she looks like Mom, Asjad. Just saying.
That's none of me. Like, genuinely. Nothing like me. It's like eyes, everything. It's her mom for sure.
Awesome. Oh,
okay.
Oh, she's enjoying the game.
She's actually enjoying the conversation you guys were having, and the chat keeps moving up and down, and she's just like seeing it. She's like, that's really cool. Oh,
that's
yeah.
Oh man, I told you that England could not help themselves. Gabe said, I'm getting worried. Why would you get worried? This is in the bag, baby. This will be done with like an hour to spare at least. Well, all right.
Because Asjad showed me an ominous screenshot that I then tweeted out that said there's going to be rain. At 3 o'clock or 2 from 3 to 5 in the forecast, something like that.
Basically, it was showing that it will rain from the start of the day of cricket until the end of the day of cricket, but not going to rain any other time during the day, which is crazy. But thankfully, so far, 43 minutes, we haven't seen rain yet. So that's good. And Crawley is... Hey,
look at those clouds, though. Oh, man, look at those clouds.
It does. It looks ominous
right there. That was a great shot right there.
I'll tell you
can we talk about Crawley for a minute?
Oh.
Do you think Crawley has done enough to solidify his a spot? Because remember, Crawley, what's he at, 40 now? If he gets himself a half century, then Crawley would have, obviously, after an ominous start, his last test match, has done way more than Rory Burns did. Do you think that they keep Crawley? I mean, you can't go back to Burns after you drop him, right? That's his bottom line. Can we agree you're not going to go back to Burns?
These guys always come in and out, first of all, right? There's not going to be anything, solidify where they're never going to come back. I don't think Crawley's done enough, but he's definitely given England fans hope that they have someone that could open. I don't know what in the world Hamid has done for himself, to tell you the truth. Oh man,
yeah, Hamid's been bad this game thus far. 9 in this innings and 6 in the first innings. Not good.
I'll tell you this: Zach Crawley is 100% going to play the next game, and Hamid probably is as well. Because if you drop Haseeb Hamid, everyone's going to say, "Oh, he only played."
Oh, because the quarantine thing, you have to.
Yeah. That's one thing. But the second thing is the fact that he had 4 games, he didn't have a good time, but give him the entire series and then see what happens. Like that. Like I know what's going to happen if they drop Hamid. Because secondly, who are you going to bring in? Are you going to put Dawid Milan up? Are you going to bring in Chris Wokes? Don't bring in Chris Wokes in Australia. Why would you? No, I'm kidding. Bring in Chris Wokes. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
He hasn't been too effective himself, but as an opener, he would be really nice. I'll tell you that much right now.
Bro.
Zach Crawley off the back foot has looked really good in this particular innings. It's reminding me a bit of Cameron Green from yesterday, because Cameron Green was hitting some beautiful pull shots to the leg side, and Crawley's just hit another one for 4, and he's on 44, and England are on 54. That's the surprise. Like, he scored literally more than 80% of the runs. It's crazy.
Crawley brought that spot for 5 years at least. They talked about how his family and influence is part of the reason he's there, and all the different places he's played. But with that being said, let's look at his play. He's averaged seeing 60 balls so far this test match here, and his debut wasn't the best. But if I'm looking at the Ashes, he's performed way better than Burns and better than Hamid. So I think he deserves to be up there.
Mm-hmm.
Again, small sample size here in Australia, but Gabe just needs to see one innings and he's sold Bukowski. And so, we'll see what happens.
Oh, how dare you? Listen,
am I wrong,
bro?
Am I wrong? I think you had him in like your top 5 openers in tests of all time like a week ago. And then you realized he played one match.
Stop it, because he's a monster. You
the chat, let him know. Let him know he loves himself some Bukowski. Let him know.
I think he's got a special bat.
I'll tell you this: he's a great talent, has a very high ceiling. He's only played one test match. That's the only issue, and he's really young. Really young. He's got a pretty decent, first class career prior to his debut as well. So you could base it on, he has amazing prospects, but he said in an interview literally yesterday or the day before that I want to keep playing I want to get to a situation where if I'm hit on the head, I can keep playing that particular innings. And that just got to me a bit, because I was like, of course, because of concussion issues, right? He goes off because he's got I don't know what happens exactly, but basically he's not fit after he gets hit on the head. So he's like, one day I want to be in a situation where if I'm hit on the helmet, I can continue on with that particular knock.
Ooh, that's a good
delivery.
Oh,
Boland, how many
just missed?
Is that just a replay?
No, that's a replay. No. So you're way behind us, bro. No. This is a live ball.
I must be way behind because they just showed a replay of his first wicket.
Boland is four maidens.
Come on. No, he didn't give him the finger.
No, he
both
didn't.
You Australia fans.
Oh no, that's not.
That looked like an edge, man.
Look at both of you Australia fans. Instantly, it's a wicket. It's a wicket. Crime.
He is so consistent with his lines, though, bro. He is so consistent with his lines.
Does Gabe love Hamid more than Campbell? Good question, Han Solo. Gabe, thoughts?
He loves everyone more than Campbell.
Listen. Hamid hasn't even earned himself a spot in the Sinister Six yet. Stop. Hamid's not even there. He's not even close to being in the Sinister Six.
Why would he? He's doing you a favor right now with his performance.
If you're talking about No Way Home, it's Sinister 5, isn't it? There's no Sinister 6, is there?
Yeah. Look at the next one that they try to get LBW. I think it was too high anyway, but he is so consistent, and he consistently attacks. I am enjoying watching Scotty Boland bowl.
Mm-hmm.
No, here we go. He's the new Bukowski.
Oh, man.
What are your thoughts on the way Jack Leach bowled yesterday? I don't know how much of that you saw, but Jack
got some wickets. Finally did something.
The ball to Smudge, I don't understand. Like, Smudge could have defended it, bro. I had to go back. I didn't watch it live, so I had to go back and watch and say how to get. And it wasn't like it was an edge, Nick, or he popped up at. No, he bowled him out, and it just turned. I don't know if it was the pitch, if Smudge just misjudged it, but I was like, not like that. Not the Jack Leach. Are you kidding me? Come on.
Well, he is a professional cricketer, right? I mean, not everyone's going to be horrible at all times. He was definitely sharp yesterday, but it's It's been so bad for England. It's like anything that's good just seems like an oasis or something. Doesn't seem
With
real.
Jack Leach, yesterday he got purchased. He confused a lot of the batsmen. But the thing with the delivery to Steve Smith was, I think he was surprised that the ball didn't spin. He's like, he saw everything and the ball just went straight on, hit the stumps. It was, Axar Patel last year when he was getting wickets on straight deliveries. It just seemed like that. And I was surprised as well that Smith kind of misread that one. And I've been very impressed with Mark Wood as well, by the way. I must say, like, he's gotten Marnus Labuschagne out a few times in this series. Right. He's got Smith out, he's got Warner out. He's only got 8 or 9 wickets, I think. But a lot of the wickets he's taken are important batsmen in important situations. So Mark Wood definitely, from an England perspective, I don't think Mark Wood can be dropped. I don't think Jack Leach should be dropped because they need a spinner. I'll ask Nick this because, as the lone English supporter on this stream right now, as he leaves.
It's rough.
What do you change? Or do you make any changes for the 5th test?
Well, there's only so many changes you can make because of the quarantine thing, right? If there wasn't a quarantine thing, then I would go back to my suggestion I made a week ago or so, put names in a hat of county cricket players and just choose 11 guys. Even if you don't have 4 bowlers, just choose 11 guys. You're going to fare about the same. Changes that need to be made. I mean, I can't imagine Jimmy Anderson's going to go in the next match, but I would love to see Anderson, Wokes, and Broad, if I'm being honest, those 3 guys together, fresh and all that kind of stuff. I would take Hamid out of there. I would honestly, just because he has a little more of a track record, even though we've been talking a lot of trash, I put Burns and Crawley in there. I really, really would, because Hamid, he either has zero confidence or he has zero idea how to play in Australia. That's all I'm saying. But there's so many changes. I would like Joe Root to not go down for a duck. That would be nice. I would like Milan to be able to get some kind of a strike rate that resembles something higher than Gabe's IQ. That would be really nice, right?
Wow.
I mean, there would be a lot of changes that I would like to see. But
just anger. I think I would drop Hamid. I would move up Milan to open with Hamid, and that would give you the room to go with, because you've had to get some overs out of Milan, and Milan just isn't taking wickets, right? Joe Root is not an all-rounder, but actually takes wickets, and he's economical. Give those overs that Milan would be taking, and give those overs to Chris Wokes, because Chris Wokes is a proper all-rounder. So if you bring in Wokes, put him down at 7, that way you get the all-rounder and you can get some overs out of him. Then you don't have to get those overs from Milan. Put Milan to open along, because you're not really getting nothing out of Hamid. You got 9 runs in the first and 6 in the second. You're not getting anything out of him.
Nothing.
They say, wow, Nick's going off. Yeah, job by Nick.
I was just going to say, because we don't know how fit Bairstow, Butler, and Stokes will be for the next game. So they'll have to make a few changes, like bring in Pope, maybe Lawrence, maybe Chris Wokes, as you said. So it's going to be an interesting situation that England are in, because they don't know if everyone's good to go.
No one is good to go. I don't even want to think about seeing Pope. They better not even think about it, unless he's got like some kind of like cathedral dress on or something like that. I don't even want to see a side of Pope whatsoever. I think that Pope would have a better chance right there. There's a boundary. That'll time along. No, Crowley.
Pope is going to come back in the next game. I can almost write it down and tell you. Like, Pope's playing.
Why do you say that?
Because Butler.
Why would you do that to us?
It seems like Butler is completely, like, they're not going to go into a game with an injury that persists. So, again, people in the chat can probably correct me if I'm wrong. But if the results are out, then I don't know. But from my knowledge, the results aren't out yet. And once they are, we'll find out exactly how injured or if Butler can play the next game or Bairstow can play the next game. One of them is not going to play the next game because of the injury. And for that reason, you have to bring in Ollie Pope as your wicket keeper, because Bairstow, if he's not fully fit, Butler's not fully fit, they're not going to be keeping. So Pope will have to come in. That's why I'm saying
the Butler injury to me looked worse. I don't think Butler can even bat today, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. So just depending, he has to bat, right? Because he could get a defensive replacement, but he cannot get a replacement for batting. So technically, England may have 9 wickets to play with, not 10. I didn't even think about that. And as we speak,
yeah, go on. Sorry,
I was going to say, Crawley is now at 49, man. I want to see Crawley get a 50. I do want to see him get a 50. So try to solidify that position at the top of the order and just end the Rory Burns experiment. And then just, find him a partner. I know a lot of people don't like Crawley, but I think just watching him bat, to me, Burns just always looks busy, but looks nervous. I hate how he exposes his stumps. I just don't like his technique. You know what I mean?
He is very unorthodox. That's the nicest way that I could put it. He's very unorthodox when he's batting. And there's a comment here, and I just realized about, I don't know if Ben Folkes is in the squad, because Ben Folkes is probably the best wicketkeeper England has. And I don't know if you've seen him play at
Never.
all.
Yeah.
Right? Ben
No,
Folkes
we've seen him play a few times.
Right, okay.
Did he?
I remember because it rhymes with Wokes.
And Stokes. but with Folkes is really
who's
good.
That? Who's Stokes? No, I was kidding. He showed up last time, thankfully.
Yeah. So in terms of his keeping, Ben Folkes, if he's available, then you play Ben Folkes for his keeping, because he's by far, and again, people might disagree with me, but for me, he's the best wicketkeeper England has in the county circuit at the moment. And if he's in Australia, he needs to be the keeper, not Ollie Pope.
Well, I think if you have anyone, if you're England, I mean, this series is done. I mean, it's cooked. It's over. So if you are looking at anyone who you think has a good chance of being your future, whatever, you put them in the 5th match if they're healthy. You know you're going to get with the Bairstow. You know what you're going to get with the Butler. Injury aside, you know what you're going to get with Burns. And I see what you're saying with Hamid. I really do. Maybe he can build some confidence and have some kind of 1 or 2 good innings. Who knows? But you put in the future that you think is the future, and you see how they do. But and you got to put whoever you think is your future batsman that maybe hasn't got a lot of chance or hasn't performed. You put him before and you put him after Root. And I'm not sure. Maybe you can answer this question, Asjad. But in baseball, you protect your lineup. You protect your stars by putting 2 really good batters back to back. That way they don't just pitch around the one batter because there's no one there to protect. Is it a similar strategy in cricket where you have your, like if Joe Root's coming at 4, you have your 3 and your 5 with really experienced batters because they can protect? Is it the same kind of a similar thing?
Yeah, I'll give you the best example I can think of right now. If you look at India, you got Pujara, Kohli, and Rahane. I know you haven't seen all 3 of them play really well since you started watching cricket. But before that...
Besides Australia.
Yeah. Pujara, you look at that, you always look at 3, 4, and 5 mostly are your best batsmen, all right? 4 ideally is your best batsman, but 3, 4, and 5, you stack up your best middle order batsmen. Then openers, that's the thing. If you look at stats and you look at like previous things, Sachin Tendulkar batted at number 4 in Test cricket, but he opened in limited overs cricket. You have a few more players who actually open in limited overs, but then move down the order because they can take as long as they need. Right? They don't need to face the new ball to be able to get the most number of deliveries. So the best batsmen are usually slotted in between 3 and 5. There's not many occasions. Maybe Sri Lanka right now with Karunaratne, he opens, right? Apart from Sri Lanka, I can't think of any other example where the opener is the best batsman they have, right? It's usually the middle order, but the openers do provide the main point of an opener, at least for a long time, was that the new ball, right? They get the new ball to a situation where it's a lot easier to bat, and then they can get out if they want, or they can keep scoring runs if they need to. So yeah, 3, 4, and 5, that's the way you ideally look at it, for sure.
Although I would disagree with you. I think that the best Australian, I think David Warner, I mean, I know that we're gushing over what Uzi's done, but David Warner is Australia's best batsman. It's him and Smudge, and he opens. I think he is, because Smudge, to me...
No loose bus change?
Well, bro, Lobishank as well has... Marnus has been good, but he doesn't have the innings. We're talking about, you kill me for...
That's just because Warner's older. That's just because Warner's older and had more games, but you trust... What you're saying is you trust Warner at this time more than... Wow.
More than Lobishank? I do. dude, everybody kills me because Pekulski only had one inning. Loboshank's only been in, 2 years, right? He came in at during the series of tests.
He's played a lot.
Steve Smith. But so he doesn't have the experience of David Warner, and David Warner opens in all 3 formats, and in all 3 formats, the guy is consistent. I think he's one of the best openers, period. That's just my opinion. You could disagree, but I understand where you say Barbara Azam, Coley, all those other guys usually bat 3-4, but I think Warner is, in my opinion, Australia's best batsman, and he normally opens.
He is one of the best. I can't really disagree with that at all. It's just, again, it was more of a generalized statement, but yeah, Warner is amazing. No doubt about that.
We talked about Uzi's performance earlier. I am shocked that it took this guy 2 years to get back on. And 2 years ago, he put up 141 versus England in the last Ashes. And the guy's been, shelved for 2 years, comes back first match, back-to-back and belly-to-belly centuries. And there's a possibility he could get left off for the next test match.
I was going to say, can you imagine if they don't let him play the next match? It's just...
he has to play because
it's almost a crime.
Yeah.
Half century for Crowley. Good for Crowley. You know what? Crowley now at 50 on 69 balls. High strike rate too. And Crowley has talent. You know what I mean? That's what when I was talking to, and at first when Crowley came in, did he get a duck as well, Nick? When he replaced Rory Burns, or he was out really early?
He didn't fare too well.
Everybody crushed me. That's what you get, Gabe.
Put the players that have played in this Ashes for England, put the name in a hat, pull a name out. Yep, they got a duck. I mean, it's anyone you can think of, including Joe Root, has gone down for ducks. It's not even funny. I like this question right here. Do you think that England declared a little bit too late? Declaring for me would be the most nerve-wracking thing as a captain of cricket. It really would be. Sorry, but I got to decide and I got to predict. And you don't ever want to give the opponent any kind of bulletin board material. So if you declare too early, oh, wow, really? We can't score those runs? Okay. You declare too late. Oh, really? We're going to lose all of our wickets? But at the same time, you think I would rather have a draw than a loss if you were being very, very, protective. So it's really, really difficult. If I was Australia, if I was going to declare any earlier, it would have been maybe by 10 overs, but that's it. What do you guys think about it?
I already said I think he did the right thing. Get as many runs as you can, because England scared Australia in that second innings when they put up 294. So they declared at like 360, 370, which the people were saying 330 is enough. Really? 330, 320? When England put up 294 in that second innings. And that's with Joe Root going down for a duck. You don't want to lose. If it's a draw, it's a draw. But the one thing you don't want to do, you don't want to lose. That's going to hurt you in the standings. And you do, whatever. 4-0 looks better than 4-1, or 5-0 would look great. But you just don't put yourself in a position to lose. You don't take away the opportunity for Uzi and Cameron Green, especially Cameron Green, a young guy who has struggled with the bat. This guy's a future all-rounder for Australia. You needed for him to get his half century. So I think that Paddy Cummins did the right thing. But that's just my opinion.
I'd say Pat Cummins was looking at Khwaja and Green, whoever gets the milestone first. And they were like, oh, Khwaja can get his 100, so let's wait till that point. And then Green got out. And they were like, okay, let's see if Kerry can get some runs. If not, I'll just declare. That's probably the mindset they went with. But I said this yesterday. The ideal approach was that until T, they bat normally and then they be aggressive. And then when they're in a situation where they're happy with how things are, and as soon as Green got out, I was surprised that it didn't declare at that point. But most teams, most captains would have said, right, the 2 set batsmen, one of them is gone. Yeah. One of them has reached their century. Now let's just go for it and get about 10, 11 overs at the opposition. That was very, very ideal. So I don't think it was a bit late. I think 388 is a big enough total for England to be like, oh, we've got 108 overs left to get 388. Could we win? Could we draw? Like, it puts doubt in their minds as well. So personally, I think it was the right call from Pat Cummins.
Man, They said that's fine, but Usman got 100. They should declare, like right at the 100, declare, right? But then again, I think
they should have declared when he was at 99. That would have been hilarious,
bro. That would have been brutal. Nick, I was watching it.
Would you be surprised? Come on.
So I was at MGM. It was a little slow the other night. I texted you when it happened, and I'm watching it. I'm on my break. I declared lunch so that I could watch, because I was watching on my phone, and Uzi the entire time, he's at 80, 87, gets into the 90s. I'm like, no, I'm going on lunch. I got to watch this. And I'm watching this, and Patty Cummings was his partner. And Patty Cummings was being very unselfish. And then for whatever reason, he decides to first hit a boundary. And you would think everybody's like, a boundary? They booed him for the boundary because then he retained the strike, right? And then, no. I think it was a single. He took a single, and then they booed him for the single because he retained the strike. And people were like, what are you doing? He left Usman with 3 balls to get the century before T. Everybody wanted to see it before T, because if you go in at 99, cool down, and come back, you could get out on the first ball, and then you're left at 99. And Kawhi ends up getting it, and then everybody loses their mind. But you saw, it was so funny because Kawhi just laughed. They gave his skipper a big, a fist bump, like, hey, man, you're doing what you got to do. You got to score. He has not looked nervous at all for me, Nick, the entire time. And it's the calmness that I like that he plays with it. But that was so cool to watch. England fans were booing Patty Cummings because he took a single and retained the strike and didn't give it to Kawhi so he could get the century. It's hilarious. Not England fans, I'm saying Australian fans.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy. I mean, someone had mentioned earlier, I can't find the comment right now, but it was a good comment where they said it's interesting how people are complaining about England now not having a test side when years ago they're complaining about not having a limited oversight. And, now they have really good squads there, World Cup, all that kind of stuff. But this is the Ashes. Like, that's the reason why people are complaining so much. This is the Ashes. Gabe and I have been told so much about how big the Ashes is. And you come into here and you show up like this, it's just absolutely horrible. Man, they got everybody around the batsman.
I just wanted to say one thing. I'll probably have to go in a couple of minutes. But for everyone watching, please like, share, subscribe to Cricket for Americans. Amazing channel. And again, if you're not new to the channel, right? If you're one of the old subscribers, just like the video and share it with people you know. Right, just send it to everyone, and they're gonna click on it at least once. That gets you some watch hours, right? It always helps the algorithm. So hopefully,
I need you to answer this for me, Asjad, because I saw this as well, and there were some mind games going on between England and Australia. All right, I understand that what Cummings did, but did you see how Mark Wood did not want to give up the century? On his watch, he's bowling wides to Usman, and I'm like these guys, yeah, they're all alpha males, and they're not on me. So what do you think about that? Do you think, because I even heard about this, I think who was talking about it? Was it Jared Kimber? Somebody mentioned about like how it was one of those class list move. I don't know. What do you think?
I thought it was the right thing to do, to be honest. Like I said, Cummins was probably looking at, okay, Khwaja gets his 100, right? Cameron Green's out. Let's see if Carey can do something. Carey gets a golden duck. He's like, I'm not going to waste any more deliveries. Let's just declare. That's probably the first thought. But the second thought was, I'm not going to let him get a hat trick and get a fifer, right? That's obviously the second thought. So
that's the absolute truth right there. I was going to say, look at these homers once again. You guys didn't know you're watching The Simpsons right now. These homers over here. Absolutely, it was an alpha move. It was like, no, we don't want England to feel anything good whatsoever. So let's really 2 wickets in a row, and then they just choose. We were going to declare that anyway. No, you weren't. Not before the over was done. Stop it. Stop it.
Bro, Mark Wood refused to give up that century to Kawhi. It was like wide after wide. And Kawhi at one point looked at him and just smiled or whatever, because it was like, whatever, dude, you're not getting it on me. Go beat up Jack Leach.
Do you think that England wouldn't make the same decision? I'm not saying that at all. I just think, like, come on, guys. Competition here. Competition. Don't be weak. I think it's weak sauce. I don't care who does it. Weak sauce.
Thank you very much, guys. As always, it's a pleasure.
Thank you, Asjad. We appreciate it.
We're very honored to be in the presence of such greatness. That is Nick and Gabe and the CFA Nation. So thank you very much. And yeah, enjoy, everyone. Hopefully. Oh, thank you, Christopher Williams. Really appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. I think Australia is gonna win, but it's gonna be a close game. It is gonna be close.
Really? That's a
Asjad, do
shock.
me a favor. Asjad, do me a favor. Put in your Cricket for Us 2.0 handle in there. So if they're new in the chat, they can go ahead and follow you on either Twitter or YouTube. Check him out, guys. He's helped us on our journey. Again, Asjad is one of the best in the business, knows his stuff, and it's so much fun having him on. Especially because me and him like to, gang up on Nick and beat him up a little bit. It's so much fun having some backup.
Thank you for
Doesn't
that.
bother me at all.
But yeah, really appreciate it. I'll put that in the chat. And yeah, until next time. Oh no, we're not ending. I'm just gonna go. Bye, guys. Bye.
Later, brother.
Later, man.
What Cummins did is typical Australia captaincy 101, Nick.
I don't disagree with that either. Absolutely agree.
And,
Absolutely
right now, brother, I got to tell you, I am worried. And I know that you're like, oh, still England. And most England fans, even the Brahmi Army online seemed a little dejected. But I think if England draws this, it's a victory for England, bro. And it really is. I do. And
well, it's better than a loss. I mean, obviously that's better than a loss, but there's no victory in this series so far. It has been atrocious. You would think I would think in 5 matches, the chances of probability that the other team would at least win 1, right? So far, the most they can hope for right now is a draw. I mean, that is just so embarrassing. And what's even more embarrassing is the fact that I'm kind of worried, Nick. I'm kind of worried. What do you mean? They've won 3 matches in a row. They've been dominating this match. I'm kind of like, what do you want? Do you want them to lay down and just like surrender and throw the white flag?
Bro, I'm afraid my man Dr. Jihan. I'm afraid my man Dr. Jihan.
You've got 2
put his 401k. I'm just saying. I think my man Dr. Jihan has put his whole 401k, maybe his savings account, all on the whitewash, and that's my dude. I don't want to. Come on,
no.
Jihan,
You are a liar. You just got called out, and you know him, right?
I like this. England only playing for pride right now. The question is, if they have any. Guys, you saw Mark Wood yesterday refuse to give up that boundary.
I love that.
He refused to give up that boundary to Kawhi because he didn't want to have it scored on him, right? He didn't want to go in the record books as giving up that century. You saw Johnny Bairstow go out after you lost Butler, Root goes out for a duck. Bairstow could have done a hot pocket match, but he went out there
as much as
I criticize him. And players play for pride, Nick. That's why, to me, I've never, ever questioned, even though I know it's happened, but I've never questioned players fixing game matches, right? Fixing games. There goes another boundary. Are you kidding me? Dude, I'm telling you, fighting. They're fighting. And that's what you want to see out of the team.
Players don't fix games?
I just said, I've seen it happen. I don't understand it. I understand umpires.
No, you said I don't ever question a player fixing a game. That's what you said.
No, me personally, I don't question it. Like, when a player plays poorly, in my opinion, it's just because he's playing poorly. I know it's happened. I know players have gotten caught.
Don't you call for match fixing every single time your team is losing? Isn't that your number one thing?
From the umpires, though. From the umpires, not the players. Not the players.
Oh my gosh.
What? I'm just saying. Because I think players just have too much pride. Players just have too much pride.
I'm talking to right now. Another boundary right there. I really like the innings that Crawley's putting together here. It's really, really impressive because it's not like he's just out there slogging it. It's not like he's out there like, oh, he's going to score as much as I can. No, he's like choosing his shots. Asjad mentioned the back foot brilliance from him. He is like just taking his time, taking what he's getting from the bowlers, and he's just smashing it. It's impressive.
And I mean, look at Australia setting. They got a man there, kitty corner. Oh, a silly point. I mean, they're setting up a field. They're not making it easy for him. They are absolutely not making it easy for him. They're trying to get that wicket, trying to put pressure on him, bringing up the field, and he's just showing poise. I think that he may be the answer. And here's the thing: Silverwood needs to answer some tough questions, right? Stuart Broad not playing, and that's in the what was it? at the Gabba, right? Like, did you see it? What are you thinking? Like, seriously? Did a green pitch and Stuart Broad does not get the ball? Seriously? And just
so stupid.
It's one of those things where you really need to go with the side and stick with it. I think Crawley has earned that. I don't know about Hamid. If they want to bring back Burns, even though I hate the way Burns bats is so ugly, Nick. It's so unorthodox. But whatever. But it's got to be Hamid. It shouldn't be Crawley. It shouldn't be Crawley.
I think you mean Gabe on this one. How Nick assumes Australia as losing just because England has shown a little backbone. I'm not panicking. I'm assuming they're going to win. How come I always get claimed for the stupid stuff that you say? I get on the comments of the videos too, like, "Oh, Nick, how dare you say that?"
There goes the wicket. There goes the wicket. There's the out.
Is this something new to you? Oh. Is that something new to you? This is the fourth match of this unbearable torture,
bro.
This is why I haven't broken a sweat.
Oh, daddy, look at the spin. Joe Lyon is a man amongst men. Bowls him out. What I mean, when you get bowled out by a spinner, Nick, it's not like he ran up the crease on him. He just missed it. Nathan Lyon is a savage, bro. Oh,
Milan is not the answer. Sorry.
No, Milan gone, and again, bowled out. Crawley is like, can I get some help?
How do you get bowled out by the spinner and you decide you hesitate? It's like he wasn't going to swing at all, and then he's like, oh crap, this is coming really close, and then it was just, that was lame. Hesitant.
Did I say hesitant? Did I say Joe Lyon? I meant Nathan Lyon, guys. I meant Nathan Lyon. Listen, I'm on a lot of cough medicine and cough syrup. You guys hear me? I'm sounding all nasally.
Out. Listen.
But
now it comes in Root, I'm assuming, unless something crazy is going to happen. They're going to bring in Root, right? And then after that, at some point, you've a battered Bairstow. The way this team has been batting, almost the entire squad is a walking wicket. That's how bad it is. Because once they start losing a wicket, they all fall in bunches, my friend.
Well, it has to be concerning that Root, has not looked like Root since, what was it, the second test match? I mean, he's been giving up his wicket, at least in the first inning. He gave up his wicket on, what was it? I want to say he went out on a duck, didn't he?
He's gone on a duck.
Yeah, yep. He went out on a duck. So you're not expecting that same performance out of Butler. Stokes finally showed some life. He gave you 66 in that first innings. And I don't think Josh Butler's injury looked bad, bro. I don't think Josh Butler could bat. Does anybody know in the chat, can Josh Butler bat? I've read different reports. Some people say he has a broken hand. Some people say it was only a strained thumb. Because how do you bat with a broken hand, Nick? How do you bat with a broken
hand? There's some batters like a Siraj who's trying to figure out how to bat with two regular hands. So it could be done, I guess. Oh, you set me up for that one. Look at SPD.
Smudge, baby. Although I was very disappointed in Smudge, Nick, to give up his Butler's a finger, right? And Bairstow's a thumb. Man, they're both injured. But Bairstow looked like he could still bat. I'm not sure about Smudge. And I forgot Stokes is hurt. He pulled his lat. So they're walking wounded out there, bro.
It's getting from bad to worse. I mean, if you're an Australia fan, you're ready to take over the world right now. Like if you had any aspirations to be a supervillain and take over the world, you're seriously thinking about doing it right now because you feel really good about yourself. You're making investments, probably. You're thinking about it. You're thinking about, you know what? I'm not the best looking guy, not the best looking bloke, but I'm going to go for the super hot chick right now because nothing can go wrong for me. I mean, Australia's got to be thinking like out of control right now, and good for them because Omicron is going nuts. But man alive, you've got to be feeling good about it. It's like what a Patriots fan must feel like, right? I mean, what does that feel like to be a Patriots fan? I have no idea.
Nicholas, so my friend, I'm going to give you live here, live on the air on CFA Nation. I'm going to give you an early birthday gift. Trey, I'm going to give you an early birthday gift. You ready for this? I'm going to put a smile on your face today.
Oh, don't even tell me. Let me guess. He's already denounced the Patriots because they didn't go to the playoffs last year.
Nah, that's not going to happen. I'll be right back. Hold on.
All right. So he's got some kind of surprise for me. I guarantee, knowing Gabe, it's some kind of punishment. If we could just take a second and root for my lowly Chargers. Like, is there anyone out there that can throw some love to my lowly Chargers who have a big game tomorrow, Sunday Night Football, NBC? They're playing the Raiders here in Las Vegas, for crying out loud. If the Chargers win, they go to the playoffs. They have a team good enough for the playoffs, but they've been chargering it up. Can we get some love for the Chargers? Can we get a go Chargers go in the chat while we wait for Gabe and his surprise? Yes, Mr. Williams. I got your email, and I will get back to you once we figure out something. Root in, green on. Wouldn't it make a great series if Root got his well-deserved 100 here and Crawley goes the same? OMG, that would be fun. A partnership that both get boundaries while they're still batting together? I think that might be asking for a wee too much. I just want them to survive. I just want them to survive until the second session. Is that asking too much? There we go. Rennell. Oh, how dare you? Now I'm not going to respond to your email. How dare you? Go Chargers, go. Will Chargers be on Footy Friday? Footy Friday is in its off season right now. I found it very difficult to watch a game because whenever I planned to, I realized it was while I'm sleeping, for crying out loud. And so Footy Friday is in its off season, as AFL's in its off season. There we go. It's me, Harry. Appreciate that. I probably will not record anything if the Chargers do win. But, I mean, it would make me happy for like a few minutes. Is that too much to ask here for me to be happy? There's another boundary right there from Crawley. Absolutely love it.
So, Nick, Trey went to the gym to work out. We actually had a home visit today. They had to do it online because he was supposed to come yesterday, the coach, but because of Omicron, the schools have now made any home visits virtual until the spread calms down for Dakota State University, which is pretty cool. But anyways, he's at the gym working out, and that was going to be your early birthday present / Christmas present. For Christmas, Trey got tickets to the 100 level seats, tickets to the Chargers versus Raiders. And guess who he invited to go? And guess who he invited to go? That's right. And we're going to be rooting for the Raiders. So I'm mushing
Are you kidding me?
I'm going to mush the Raiders for you. You're welcome. You're welcome.
During the year of Gabe? Are you kidding me?
Bro, this luck can't continue to last.
That's it.
This luck can't continue to last.
That's it.
Friendship over.
That's it. I have given too much unneeded love for the garbage Yankees because of your... Never again. I'm going back to 1998, Nick, 1999, when I despised them. The same kid that when I was a young teenager went to a Padres game. They were playing the Reds or some nonsense after they got swept by the Yankees in the World Series. I took a sign with me that said the Yankees suck. They were not playing the Yankees, but I hate them so much I wanted to show that sign on TV. The people at security literally took the sign from me and said, you can't show that sign here. I'm like, why not? Freedom of speech is called America. Oh, bro, that's it.
I thought you'd be happy. I'm mushing the Raiders, bro.
No,
I'm mushing the Raiders.
You have see. This is why you drive me crazy with your. I'm a Knicks fan. I know the punishment. No, you don't. If you were a true fan of a team like the Chargers, right, you would know that anything in the universe will cause them to lose.
Me mushing the Chargers?
Absolutely. Oh, wow. Okay, guys. It's already over right now. I already know it. The Chargers are losing tomorrow. I already know. When you guys see the score, check out like a ESPN, American Sports, whatever. On Monday morning, you'll say, "Oh yeah, Nick was right. Gabe did mess it up. It's over."
Bro, I was shocked. I thought he would take his girlfriend or his best friend, but he asked me to go. That was one of those dad moments where you're just like, oh.
You gotta get the day off work then.
Calling out, bro. Calling out, period. Not going.
Dude.
Oh, man.
I cannot believe you're trash. That's it. Yankees, it's open season.
It's open season on the Yankees. That's classic. Oh,
Open
man.
season.
Speaking of which, Nick, with the rage of Omicron, obviously you see right now in the stands, they look kind of light there over in Sydney. And they're starting to, I didn't know this. You got to load your Vax card and have a negative test of within 72 hours before they let you into Raider Stadium. Like, bro, it's no joke, man. They're not taking any chances.
Where are you getting your negative test at then?
They do the rapids right over there. You could go today or go tomorrow. We're just gonna show up super early and get it done because they do the rapid one, the 15-minute one. As long as you've got your Vax card. But I was like, that's out of control. Oh, I love this.
Not out of control at all. Not out of control at all. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Gabe just put all the boring review finances on the Chargers. Listen.
I cannot believe how disrespectful you are right now.
Bro, I said it's a Christmas gift to you.
Rooting for the Raiders.
You want me to go in there for Charger stuff? You want me to go in there for the Chargers? I don't think.
No. It's ingenuine, just genuine. No, it's over. It's absolutely over. We are collaborators as far as YouTube only.
Wow.
YouTube only. I've already blocked your number. YouTube only.
He said, "Friendship over. Friendship over."
I think I might cry on the air right now. And it has nothing to do with England once again ruining themselves.
I mean, to be fair, they still have 8 wickets in hand. But
25 minutes ago, they had 10 wickets in hand.
They don't seem to be, I mean, Zach Crowley is scoring, his strike rate is 77. So Zach Crowley looks like he's actually trying to chase down 307. But Hamid's strike rate was 15, Milan's is 13, and Joe Root don't even got a strike rate yet. No, he just came to the crease, so I'm sure he's trying to get his bearings. But you would think that they'd be trying to score at a higher strike rate.
Did they sneak a run on that? Come on, you didn't sneak a run on that?
That's what I'm saying. They're playing very conservatively. So it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Nick, it looks like England's just trying to play for the draw. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, Crawley might have a different idea in his mind, but there's no way you're going to chase this. They still have more than 300 runs. They are, closer to the first break, lunch break. And I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. This series, I was hoping for a little more competition, but the true Australia fans called the whitewash. They called the absolute destruction right here. I want to know, is anyone in the chat, have they seen Cobra Kai season 4? Because it's absolutely phenomenal. Gabe's not a true fan. He hasn't finished it yet. Wow. But Cobra Kai season 4, I watched it in, was it 1 day or 2 days? I think it was 2 days.
Oh, look at Gary trying to get that wicket there. Gary!
Hey, Gary needs to focus more on catching the ball when he's next to the stumps. All right, that's what he's got to worry about.
Wow. Do not let it go, huh, Nick?
I'm just saying.
John Weir does say here, they have to protect the middle order, and we don't know how serious the injury is yet. Like I said, I felt like Butler broke his hand or finger because I watched that replay. It looked bad, Nick. So if he bats today, I will find a newfound he earned my respect. He will earn a newfound respect for me because, man, it looked bad, bro. So we'll see. We'll see. Now, Nick, let me ask you a question. What was the most unexpected thing so far we've seen this Ashes? Has it been the double century? All right. Oh, it's not a double century. They corrected me in the chat earlier. The 2 different centuries from Usman.
Why would it not be a double century? I mean, it's not 200 runs, but it's a 2 centuries. I mean, come on.
Right.
Semantics here.
Okay. Is it Scott Boland with his performance at the MCG? What was it? A 9-wicket haul over there, 7, whatever it was, and 5 wickets so far in this innings.
This guy's out of control.
What to you? Or was it Johnny Bairstow? Buck 13, Daddy. Buck 13. Johnny Bairstow. The saving grace. Highest score so far for England. Which has been the most surprising?
Those are all really special moments and special feats, and they're all fantastic. And you'll notice he did not mention one thing from England because there was nothing worth celebrating.
I just said Johnny Bairstow with a buck 13. Come on now.
That's true. That's true. Whenever you say Bairstow, I just assume you're saying something bad. So my bad. But for me, it's easily. And we got Rennell first ball wicket. We got. Where was the other one at? Oh, John says Boland the MCG. For me, it was Uzi. And there's a little bit of extra to it because Gabe's been calling for this forever, and he usually drives me. Oh, he does drive me crazy with his constant repetition of asking for the same thing. But he was I mean, you couldn't be more right. Unless you expect Uzi to get 2 double tons, which isn't going to happen when England can't score any runs for crying out loud. The fact that he got 2 centuries in the same match, a century each inning, in the one match he got a chance to play in, to me, that's the most special thing. With all this stuff before, holding him back, pretending like he's in the witness protection program, all this kind of stuff, he gets one Can you make a better impact than that with your one chance? It's like Eminem's one shot, right? You got one shot, and he was able to do it. Now, the only reason why I'm not saying Boland is because, and it's the chat that ruined me on this one. The chat was like, oh, he was born and bred for this. You know, they went to these parents that are MCG, whatever. They had him, breed this child. And then they taught him I mean, it sounded like he was made for, I don't even know what that means, how you're made for the MCG. But that's the only reason why he was not there.
Interesting. And you know what? I gotta say, to me, it's Boland, and I'll tell you why. I expected this from Uzi. Bro, I've been watching. Uzi's one of the few players that I follow domestically, and he's been smashing. So I always expect that from him. To me, Boland is unexpected because people are just like, he's an MCG product, and he's got 5 wickets here in Sydney. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy came out of nowhere, and he can't even get a sniff. Because the only reason he's in here is because Hazel was hurt. You know what I mean? So to me, that was the most shocking thing thus far. I expected, Rory Burns' first ball. It was a beautiful thing right now. But honestly, Rory Burns have been playing for a while, and he had 13 ducks last year, or 11 ducks, whatever it was, in the first innings. I mean, Rory Burns has just been bad for a minute. So I expected that, you know what I mean? Maybe not first ball, but I knew he wasn't going to play well. Yeah, people agreeing with you, Nick. First time Uzi got back.
They're agreeing with the Boland one, too. It seems like it's half and half right now. It might even be a little bit leaning towards Boland. The Boland one's fantastic because I never heard of him. A lot of people didn't hear about him unless you were paying attention to the local stuff there. And for him just to dominate was fantastic. It really was. But I think for me, I'm more of a story guy, right? So the story, and he's got a great story too, don't get me wrong, but the story behind it. And correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I thought I heard something about the fact that he has the Aboriginal blood. Was he the first Aboriginal Australian player to get a fifer in a test match? I'm not exactly sure. There were some records there that he broke besides just his debut or whatever it was, getting the 7 wickets. Definitely special. Yeah. It's a good question.
Yeah, for sure.
Hard to choose.
Ooh, what a good ball there. What a good ball. And Nick, as we speak, you know who's also impressing this innings? Okay.
Probably.
Zach Crawley, 72 offset. What is that?
He's playing very strategic. He's playing chess, and the bowlers are playing checkers. That's the best way I can put it. He is just so comfortable back there, Ooh, be careful. Watch out for the stick, Joe Root. And Joe Root, he's also taking his sweet time because he knows right now the name of the game is survival. He's got to be a little more careful though with how he's holding that bat when it's going by him. Like he's kind of being a little too willy-nilly with it. And I think if he gets it a little tighter to his body, if he doesn't, like that was a little better right there, he's going to be in trouble.
KL Raul struggles with that. Okay, that short ball has plagued him, and sometimes they don't even mean to do it, but they nick the ball back because when they try to dive out the way or back out the way. I know what you're saying. We've seen KL Raul get out like that a couple times, but nice lead there by Crawley, and I feel like Crawley is just reading the balls really, really well. Okay, he's able to. I saw KL Raul do that against South Africa. At one point, it was like 3 straight overs. The guy didn't play a ball. He's just like, no Rabada, no Ngidi, you're going to ball. It was ridiculous. I mean, maybe it wasn't 3, but it was like ball after ball. He's just spitting on him. And Nick, what do you think about that in tests? I know in even in ODIs, I know people say, well, in ODIs, you got 50 overs, 300 balls. So it's limited overs. You've got to, you can't let too many balls go by. But so strike rate matters. In test, strike rate doesn't really matter, right? So
doesn't matter at all.
What do you think about like in baseball, making pitchers keep pitching, make them come into the zone and spit on bad pitches where I just don't see that. Sometimes you see batsmen get themselves out on balls they don't have to swing at. And we've seen, again, KL Raul do it not too long ago in South Africa over there. We saw, obviously, just 2 balls ago, a really nice lead there by Crawley. He's just reading it really well, saying, not even bothering with it. Give me another. That's got to be frustrating to the bowler. The bowler tires down.
Absolutely.
He's wasting deliveries. And it's a good approach to take. Uzi spit on so many pitches. At one point yesterday, I was worried, Nick, because he was like 1 for 18. But he was just building those innings.
No, it's absolutely got to be the most frustrating thing as a bowler because in cricket you have I get you have bowling partnerships, but in the span of if you last like 30 overs, you can have 4 or 5 maybe bowlers or whatever. And if you can get all of them frustrated because no one can get you got, I think that says a whole lot. It says volumes because the bowlers are just, especially if you're slogging it too, they don't even want to go out there and bowl and get embarrassed. Jeez, that was a nice shot, but it was a little close boundary there. But yeah, absolutely. Frustrate those bowlers as much as you can by staying in there. And that's what's so beautiful about tests. You have that luxury. In ODI, you're right. ODI, you can still take a little bit of your time, especially the first 20 overs, but you can't take, an exorbitant amount of time because you got to score some runs.
No, for sure. And guys, as we speak, this is getting interesting. 2 for 91. Crawley is at 77. And again, I think the pressure's on Australia. Nick, what do you think? I think the pressure's on Australia because they need to. They don't need to, but they want to. They absolutely want to win this game. And I just think, to your point, right now Crawley is just taking his time, and they're like, listen, I'm not going to chase anything. Same thing with Joe Root. They look relaxed. And if these guys can settle in, Australia may have to start taking some chances with their deliveries and then may get pumped for some runs.
I mean, we've seen crazier things, right? And this is where I'm still learning when it comes to cricket. One of the many areas I'm still working on and learning, trying to figure out on that last day, when does it look like they're just going for the draw, or does it look like they're chasing, or a little bit like they're leaving the options open? I think that it looks like they're still leaving the options open to chase, but I don't think it's like on their, the forefront of mind. I'm going to do something we haven't done before in a live stream because we can't pull through StreamYard, which is the 4% figured out how to.
Nick,
I'm going to put a poll on CFA. Yeah.
That crackling is coming back for some reason. Are you guys getting some interference, or is that just me? Maybe it was just me. Go for it, brother. Oh, they said, yeah. Your sound was off, Nick. They said they hear the interference. Smurdy, back in the chat. What up, Smurdy?
Testing.
Sounds good now. 1 2 1 2.
1 2 3 4 5 6, and boundary right there for Root gets on the board. There you go.
Finally off the mark for
Let
Joe
me know
Root.
when it. Let me know when it comes back. But I'm going to put a poll right now on what you guys think England's going to do on this last day. All right, so we put the poll up right now. What will England do on day 5? Why did I capitalize do? I don't know. All right, so the options are going to be: you think they're going to chase, play for the draw, or get bowled out. And just for fun, for those who are feeling very, very lucky, we're going to put tie. All right, so the poll is now live on CFA. Let's see if you can go on to our community page and put in that poll. If you don't want to lose the stream, just go to a new tab, go to CFA, go to the community page. You'll see our poll right there. Interference back, they said.
Yeah, it came back for a little bit, and then it just left for some reason. I don't know. Just in and out. Nick, Cam Green's 6'6", bro. This dude is a monster. I mean, I didn't realize how big he was until I saw him standing next to Uzi in that beautiful partnership yesterday. And honestly, bro, like he, to me, I can see why Australian fans are excited about him being an all-rounder. He's picked up a few miles per hour, so to speak, a couple ticks when he's bowling. But what was that last one at? 137 kilometers per hour right there to Joe Root. So if this guy, between that and we saw what he could do yesterday with the bat, this young fella's impressive, man. Does America have story? We do here.
It's me. No, my room does. It's me. Harry says, Nick, there's a poll option in live chat. Again, we use StreamYard, and if there is a live poll, I have not figured out how to do it. There's not a lot of options of what you can do with StreamYard, but it works very well with the things that we do want to do. But if you use StreamYard before and you're not just thinking about live streaming from YouTube itself, then let me know how to get there.
Yeah, Cam Green, man, this youngster, 6'6", he's 21 years old, Nick. He's a baby, 22 years old. He still got Similac on his breath, bro. And he's been impressive. Great knock yesterday. And, oh, there it goes. And just got himself a wicket. What a ball there by Cam Green. I feel disappointed there because, man, I did want to see Crawley get that century, but what a ball by Cam Green. Did they challenge it? Come on. They're not going to challenge it. They're not going to challenge it. Oh, man. Cam Green. That's why all-rounder is so valuable.
It looks like they did challenge it.
They challenged that?
It looks like they did. I could be wrong.
You called it. I mean, you saw it take a weird it had to hit the bat unless it hit his foot, which still. Did it get under the bat somehow?
It still would have hit this, or did it hit his shoe?
It got under the bat. Wow. That was a good call. That's not. Did it hit his shoe, though? It hit something.
It's tough using.
I think it hit his front foot. If
shoe.
It didn't hit the bat,
hit his shoe.
So if it wasn't, it hit his shoe.
No, well, it's tough because it has that white dot on his shoe before the ball even gets there. Snicko, but how are you gonna be able to use Snicko because it's gonna hit the ground at the same time? I don't think they're gonna be able to overturn this.
Yeah, no, LBW. They got him LBW off his shoe, but I thought he had nicked it back off the bottom of the bat, but no, it was LBW. And man. You feel bad for Crawley. Look how low that ball stayed, Nick. Man, Cam Green is special. and I can see why people are excited about him as an all-rounder. If he struggles with the bat, it doesn't matter. There was some talk, I was listening to the broadcast, that he needs to get some runs. He's not needed to get, 70 runs every game. Yeah, he's batting at 6, so get 30, 40. You want to average more. I think he was averaging under 20. But, man, this is why you bring in Cam Green. He got himself a wicket in the first inning. He got himself a wicket this inning. Economy rate is still good. And he just took out the best chance England had, the most settled batsman. And now you got Ben Stokes, who's injured, and this may be the collapse, because if the injury's bad to Stokes, who knows? Oh, Cam Green.
It could be. What have I been saying since the minute I came on right now? There's no chance. I'm mad at myself with the poll because I put get bold, not get bold out. But so far, early on, get your vote in on our poll on CFA. 55% think we're getting bowled out. 36% think they're playing for the draw. 0 says Chase, and one cheeky person in there has a tie for our 11 votes so far. Love it.
Critical point of the match now. Correct, Peter Walsh, because you have to come and attack the new guys that are coming in that have not read a ball yet, and we'll see what's happening. We'll definitely see what's happening. It's going to be Ben Stokes. And Ben Stokes has the strike. You don't want to let Ben Stokes get hot. But remember, he pulled aside a lat muscle. So how healthy is he?
Does it even matter? Say it's back again. I'm not sure what's going on with the audio here, guys. No idea.
That ball there. And actually, Root has a strike, not Ben Stokes. My apology. So Ben Stokes can at least try to read the pitch a little bit and settle in before he has to see a delivery. So now 292 with 7 wickets remaining does not look good, Nick. You lost your most settled batsman, and at best, England can only try to get a draw at this point.
Someone voted for Chase now. They have had, I mean, it's honestly, it's so sad how bad they've played in this Ashes. Just when it looks like they might have like a decent back-to-back innings, right? And they still could. But it's just like they've had no opening partnership whatsoever to speak of. Crawley did really, really fine here, but he had no partner. He had no partner to go off of. And he actually lost the first 2 partners he had before he went down. It's just, I would have thought that eventually, just like the way luck plays in, that they would have had one of these matches. But absolutely.
I mean, Australia for sure has dominated the Ashes. To be honest, and it's crazy to say that when you think that 416 was put up on the first innings by Australia. But to me, this was the best game England has played. This is the closest England has come to actually challenging for a win, if not a draw. Because yesterday, don't forget, guys, when England could have bowled out Australia for under 300, okay? It could have been like 230, 240. And you had Cam Green, who hadn't gotten any runs till that point. And then you had Uzi in there, Kawaj, because everybody else went down. And those guys had a partnership of, I think it was like 130. Correct me in the chat. I think they had a partnership like 130. And that's when you're just like, okay, they settled the game down. But if those guys go down, collapse happens, England possibly wins this game.
Yeah, no, Australia definitely has some fantastic bowlers, Anthony. Absolutely has some fantastic bowlers. But, I mean, I don't want to take anything away. They bowl really well at home. Australia bowls amazingly well at home, just like the Indian spinners bowl really well in India. And unless Scott Boland and Cameron Green are going to be the next, biggest thing as far as Australian bowling goes, you got to factor in the home grounds, the home pitch, all that kind of stuff going in there. But that's not anything against Australia. But they have just a better, deeper squad. And we were talking about Australia's depth being a problem like a year ago. and now it's England that has the depth issues. And it looks like Australia, we had forgotten about some injuries. We had forgotten about, their test side is very different than their limited over side. So they're a better team by far. This is not a fluke that Australia's whitewashing so far. But it's just, I would like some competition. That's all I'm asking for.
Well, Nick, then remember, again, a year ago, we had Pekowski, concussion injury, David Warner with the groin. All right, Smudge just wasn't playing well. Yeah, Australia had some issues. You know what I'm saying? Joe Burns was in the lineup, which, Joe Burns, finally, they got him out of there. And it was really a culmination of a lot of things that happened with Australia. And they were able to come back, bounce back after that defeat at the Gabba. They came back, won the T20 World Cup, and now they're dominating this year so far in Test, dominating the Ashes. And Australia looks like they're in a good place right now. Again, an embarrassment of riches. How do you sit down bowling? I know Hazelwood is their top 3. How do you sit down bowling after 2 back-to-back performances like this, bro? I mean, same thing. Any one of those guys, as much as I love Uzi, Marcus Harris has an argument. Hey, man, he scored 70 and 20, so he's averaging what, 90s? This Test match. I mean, come on. It's a good place to be. And on the other hand, man, England can't find enough healthy players. They can't find enough healthy players. I still feel, not to knock England, but it would be different if Jofra Archer hadn't been injured. We haven't even talked about Jofra Archer. And if Jofra Archer was here with his pace on these grounds, it could be a different story for the batting. What do you think, Nick?
It would be a completely different story. I don't think it would be that much of a difference. But, I mean, not to the point where we're talking about, like, a 2-1 series or a 1-2 or going into a 2-2. But you can't help but lose your opening bowler and one of your best pace bowlers whatsoever, who wreaks havoc wherever he goes. Yeah. And it's a shame that people keep talking about how his career may be done. Speaking about done careers, this question by Payush says, where do you see James Anderson going after the Ashes? That is last match of Jimmy. Unless you know something that I don't, I would never believe that this would be his last match. Why would it be?
I've heard the rumblings. Jimmy Anderson is 39, Nick. I've heard the rumblings, but
and Tom Brady's 44.
When I watch him bowl, does he look like a guy that is done, that still doesn't have any stuff? Jimmy Anderson took a 5-wicket haul, I think it was. Was it the first or second Test match? I can't remember if it was at the. It might have been at the Gabba. He took a 5-wicket haul.
He didn't bowl in the first match, I don't think. So it had to be the second match.
No, Jimmy Anderson bowled in the first match. He didn't bowl in the second one, I want to say. I hate this rotation with England. I can never remember who bowled when. But Jimmy Anderson has not looked. Hasn't gotten pumped for runs. I still think he has some gas in the tank, man. At least another year. But that's a good question.
See, Jimmy Anderson. You got it right here. The first Test, he did not bowl. And that was the issue, that you had the first match and you didn't have Anderson and you didn't have Broad in there. Neither of them in there.
Ooh. And you know what? This might be Jimmy's last Ashes. Will he be around 2 years later? That's a good, maybe not.
That's a good question. If that's what he meant by the last Ashes match, okay, then I understand that question.
This is very good. And Nick and I were going to have this discussion again. Can't wait to have our cricket combos. County cricket needs to be completely ripped up. England have an opportunity for IPL-style, franchise-style tournament for red ball cricket and attract best players in the world to improve English cricket. So the thing is that they haven't done that. All right, guys. England is not focusing on red ball cricket. Look, they bought in the 100, right? That's their answer to compete with the BBL white ball, to compete with the IPL. Most of their players play in the IPL of their marquee players. We're talking about Josh Butler, Johnny Bairstow, Jofra Archer, and it's there's more money involved. Okay, it's a growing and popular format for the game. So I don't think it's just England, guys, to be honest with you. I really don't. A lot of other places are focusing on white ball cricket. There's rumors that the T20 is going to the Olympics. If they get T20 in the Olympics, man, that's going to be huge. And a lot of the youth that are coming up are going to be looking at that and putting an eye towards that. So there's a lot of reasons why white ball cricket is becoming very popular, and why players are focusing on their white ball game. Thank you, John. Yeah, Nick let me know Jimmy didn't play at the GABA. So I think it was at the end of the second match, Jimmy got a 5-wicket haul.
It's this question about county cricket needs to be completely ripped up. I don't know enough about the situation to give a professional comment on this, but just from what I would assume is it county cricket's fault, or is it the selector's fault not diving more into the county cricket pool and figuring out who's around, right? Because talking about Usman for Australia, I think all he could play was county cricket and maybe some I'm not even sure if he's on the BBL this year. But as far as Test goes, county cricket, closest thing, and he hasn't been picked up for a few years because the selectors, JL, didn't want him on the squad, right? And he gets 2 centuries, for crying out loud. I'm not saying that England has a bunch of those Usmans in their pool, but are the selectors looking deep enough into that pool is my question, is my concern.
That's you know what? That's a good argument. Here they're saying the problem is talent. County cricket is diluted, so players don't play quality bowlers. That also makes sense. Talking about Hobart. Hobart's going to be a pink ball match, right? Let me know in the chat, right, guys? Is that correct? Because the venue was moved. It wasn't supposed to be Hobart, so they're making it a day-night match, pink ball match.
A whole media press thing for, I believe, for the pink ball match.
So I'm interested to see what bowlers England brings along for that pink ball, as well as Australia. Remember, last pink ball match, they went with what? All Pacers. They left off what's his name? Jack Leach.
Sorry, I was texting, so I wasn't listening to him. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I think that in the second match, was it the second match that was a pink ball match? They left off Jack Leach. They went with all Pacers. And I wonder if England's going to employ that again.
Yeah, possibly. I haven't really thought about that too much. Let us know what you think in the chat there.
No, county cricket is the basis of all cricket feeder programs. I would love to chat about this topic. Absolutely, Christopher Williams. And like I said, I'll talk to Nick about it. Thanks for sending us that email, and we will get back with you, my friend. England, Gabe, England destroys their county system by investing too much in contracted players, excuse me. And they left their own talent to play minor leagues. And, you know, there's politics involved in all sports. Trust me. I hear you, man. I hear you. Way too many teams of average players in England. Okay. India's Test success is mainly attributed to their rich county cricket, namely the Ranji Trophy.
That I have heard of.
The problem is that Rory Burns is the top scorer in county cricket and nobody else is close. That is sad if they've got no one else, man. Whew. But it's possible. Australia's Test 11 after 80s. Matthew Hayde, Langer, Ricky Ponting, Steve Waugh, Alan Broder, Adam Gilchrist, Shane Warren, Glenn McGrath, Dennis Lee, and Mitchell Johnson.
All right, sorry guys, I was taking care. My kids got their friends over, so I was just texting the parents about when they're going to pick them up. Gabe might have already touched on this question. Did you already answer this question about how Rory Burns is the top scorer in county cricket and no one else is close?
Yeah. I just mentioned that. That's sad if that's the truth.
That's scary, man. Okay, well, I mean, there's got to be some other scouting parameters besides just high scores, right? which sounds stupid. I get that. But when you're looking at scoring, looking at players that are ready to take that next step, there's got to be a little more to it than just, who's the top scorer, other things. I'm not really sure what that would be. Because, again, as we know, top scorer does not mean best batsman in that position in the batting order, right? But I get it. They struggle with openers, and top scorer is probably opener in county cricket.
That is a tough thing. Somebody says New Zealand just scored 7 and 5 on overthrows against Bangladesh. Wow. That's they need to calm themselves down. Got to take that series. Bro, you knew that New Zealand wasn't going to just come and lay down after they got hootied, you know what I mean, against Bangladesh. And it's 117 for nil in the 29th over. Tom Latham is still in there. Well, Young, they haven't even, of course. But no, they didn't lose their openers. And I would absolutely think that Bangladesh knew New Zealand was going to come in and give them all they could handle. They got embarrassed, bro.
Well, you were talking about Cinderella Man in one of our previous videos. And there's a scene in that movie where I still can't remember the guy's name that Russell Crowe plays. Gosh. But he's winning like the first or second round. Like things are going well for him. And Max Baer, who was a champion, was kind of messing things around, making a show out of it. And he got knocked down or something. And so at the beginning of the next round, he just has this look on his eye where his head's kind of tilted and he's all business. And he comes out of the gate of his corner and just starts nailing the contender. That's what I kind of feel New Zealand's going to be like. Like they're going to come out of the gates like, no, we're not even going to come close this time. We're going to destroy you. But I would love for Bangladesh to win.
It was James Braddock. He plays James Braddock.
That's who it is. Jim Braddock. Yes. Gosh. Yeah. Latham, they got no wickets so far, New Zealand. 117 for no loss. Latham's got 78 already. Edabot is getting crushed, who was the hero in the last match.
Ooh. Oh, my. And, guys, this will be my last over, Nick. As you know, I work at 6 today, so I got to get ready to get out of here.
It's actually going to be our last over because your man is cooking dinner tonight. I told Jody to, take it easy. She got some grading to do. I mean, what else is new, right, in this house? But still,
I'm calling for a wicket because it's Nathan Lyon. I'm calling for a wicket because it's Nathan Lyon. Come on, Nathan Lyon. Ooh.
Don't forget to answer our poll. What do you think is going to happen? Because after this match is over, after this day is over, the poll is, doesn't matter anymore because the match is over. So go ahead and participate in that poll. What do you think is going to happen? I had called it coming in. Was I a little bit of sour grapes? Absolutely. But I was calling Australia to win this match. So that's my vote. I'm assuming that's Gabe's vote, but he did say he was worried at a certain point.
I was looking. I'm still concerned about the draw, man. I'm still concerned about the draw because look how dark it is, Nick. Mind you, it's like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning over there right now. And do you see any sunlight at all?
I haven't seen any rain yet, so that bodes well. The worst thing that could happen is they go to lunch. How long was it before the match started when you jumped on the stream?
Probably like maybe 10 minutes before the match started, 15 minutes.
Yeah, so I mean we're looking close to the 2 hour mark. So we're looking close at lunch break, right? Really, really close. So we made the first session there. But the worst thing would be at the end of lunch break, of that 30, 40-minute break, that the rain starts to fall. That would be the worst thing because then you would delay it even more. And I don't care if it's my team or someone else's team. I don't want a draw to happen because of rain. I think that's just lame, right? Especially with how well Australia's played. England has battled back, but Australia once again they declared both innings. But everyone, thank you so much. We appreciate you checking us out. Thank you so much. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Check out what we're doing on Boring Reviews. Check out what we're doing here on Cricket for Americans. We're always also posting other videos here and there. I was posting a reaction that Jody and I actually did last night. Copyright claim kind of put a kibosh to that. But you always look out for our videos. We'll see what happens. Let's see if England can show some life. I don't think they will. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time.
Got 6 runs.